everybody, and welcome to the fourth episode. Yes, the fourth episode of Creating Your Career with Marla J. Alberti. I am so super excited for this episode, as I am for every episode, because this episode, not only do I have the creative director of the business, my business, True Speaks Group, I also have my cousin, Erin Kendrick, that I'm going to be interviewing today. So, Erin, say hey to everybody.
Hello.
So I'm going to go ahead and read her bio. As you know, guys, I love to read the bio to you so you can kind of get a small background before we jump into the actual interview. And, of course, explain how we know each other. So I'm going to start backwards. How I know her, she's my cousin. We've been together our whole lives. So that will explain that. I mean, we've gone on road trips together. We've been, I don't know. She's my cousin. We've been together since birth, I think. So we'll just say that. But I'm going to go ahead and read her bio so you can get a little bit of background and jump into the artist that she is. Okay, and like I said, guys, I read verbatim. So Erin Kendrick is a visual artist from Jacksonville, Florida, whose color-rich and acrylic ink-style works of art seek to inspire a dialogue about contemporary spectatorship and the power of language as it relates to the perceptions of and about Black women. She has exhibited her work in museums, galleries, and alternative spaces throughout the southeastern United States. After receiving her formal art training at Florida State University, FSU, go Noles, which is a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Studio Art in 1999, and then Georgia State University, a Master of Fine Arts in Drawing and Painting in 2003, she worked for many years as a studio artist and arts educator in Atlanta, Georgia. In 2009, she decided to step away from the fine arts areas and relocate back to her hometown right here in Jacksonville to build a career as an event designer and graphic designer. And that business is now called E Street Design Company, which is currently active. She currently works as a program and event coordinator at the University of North Florida, right here in Jacksonville, and as an adjunct professor for Columbia College. With a renewed drive for art making and a new body of work, she returned to exhibiting her artwork, in 2016, and she currently maintains her own studio in the Mixon Town Studios right here in Jacksonville.
I moved.
Oh, that's right. That's right. She did move. Where are you
now? So now I'm in Cork Art Studios.
Okay. What is it?
Cork
Art Studios. Yay! So she has her own studio, guys. This is awesome. I can't believe I'm going to really interview this is a real life artist, so you guys want to listen up. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in and get started. So, of course, the first question is, tell us where you're from, which we know Jacksonville, but give us a little brief history up to now, like how your career has kind of evolved, and we're going to get into more detail about that. But give us a brief history up till now.
Okay. Yes, I'm from Jacksonville. I spent most of my life in Jacksonville. I've always been an artist in some capacity. So even from being a child and sitting and cutting paper and drawing and stuff with my mom. So I've always been an artist in some capacity. My mom has always nurtured that, and pretty much kept with it throughout school. Didn't necessarily want to go to college for art, or didn't really think it just didn't seem like something people did. Mm-hmm. So I actually went to college for like physical therapy or something crazy like that. And kind of found my way into art through an art class. I had a survey of African-American art class with a professor named Ed Love, who basically kind of changed the game for me. And through him, I joined the studio art program at FSU. So I have a degree in studio art, which is basically like art making. So it's not like graphic design. It's basically making art for yourself versus making art for other people. So it's not so much a service. He passed away in my senior year on like a Sunday night after a Friday class, which kind of changed a lot of things for me. But it wasn't until after that I wanted to teach. So after he passed away, after I graduated, I went to Georgia State University in Atlanta for graduate school. And there I studied drawing and painting. Coming off the death of my professor, I was kind of struggling a little bit in my first year. Kind of got threatened a couple times about being sent home. But then we got what's called a new media teacher. who did installation and video and all these kind of different things that weren't just painting. And that kind of set me on the right path when it came to college. So did you hear that? Did you hear my stomach grumble? So, um, so after he got there, I kind of got back on track. I started doing more than just painting in college, and I started doing what's called installation, which is basically installing art into a space. So the space is the medium versus like the canvas being the medium. So it's something you put in for the duration of a show and you take out after a show. So you alter the space.
Okay.
So graduated from there. I got my master's at like 26. I felt like I was applying for college level teaching jobs. I felt like the response I was getting without being told was that I was too young. So I ended up teaching art in high school in Atlanta at Banneker High School. Which is kind of like, well, if you're from Jacksonville, it's kind of like a Raines High School or Jackson High School. It's kind of an urban high school that a lot of people write off, that has a lot of great kids and a lot of great faculty in there who are trying to do their best. And I loved it. So I was there for 4 years. Decided that it kind of took over my life. So there was really no art making at that point. I was a teacher, I was a coach, and that's pretty much where I put everything into. Then I decided to come home and start an event business. So I moved back to Jacksonville, started my event business, did that for about, what year is it? 2017? Did that, I guess about 7 years or so. And then I decided to make art again. So I started painting. I got into a show. It worked. People responded really well to that. I sold artwork that night, and I've been sort of on that path since then. So working as a visual artist since then.
Oh my God, this is okay. So I could ask 30,000 questions for that, but you guys know how I am. I got to stay on track. But the one theme I heard there was you had a mentor. And guys, I have a Facebook group, the Learning Association. Go out to Facebook, join the group, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to do that. But this month, the month of October 2017, I'm talking about mentoring, and she had a mentor that kind of changed the course of her life. So that to me is very important because that puts you on the path of where you're now going, and I love it. So okay, I can stay on that all day long. But so talk about what are you doing right now? Like and it's crazy because you literally are creating your career. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but what are you doing right now in your career? Because you said a lot of things: graphic artist, you said installer. So for those who are not in the art world, who don't understand those words, what are you doing right now?
So I kind of still do all of it. I'm a Gemini. I need a lot to be going on at once. So as a day job, I am basically an event planner at the University of North Florida on the faculty end. So I plan faculty events like faculty professional developments. That's my day job. I am a visual artist. So like you said before, I maintain a studio. I paint. I don't think I have anything here in my house that I painted, but I paint. I sell artwork. I am also a graphic designer. So I make things for clients, anything from invitations to being a creative director like I am for your business. So I pretty much maintain like the visual end of businesses, select businesses. So yours, a big one to me is The Adventures of Moxie McGriff, which is a comic book series written by Natalie McGriff, who was an 8-year-old when she got started, but she's older now. She's still writing books. She has 3 books under her belt. And now we're shifting over into everything from product lines to a shop, like a candy shop. So I am basically, I have a day job, it's just my day job. That's what it is. It, keeps me afloat. I'm a visual artist and I'm a graphic designer.
Okay, I love it. So I got to elaborate on that a little bit too. So Notice how she said day job. So I heard this at a conference. It's a stream of income. It's
Right.
just a stream of income,
Exactly.
right? So, yep. So it's a stream of income. It's a day job, guys out there. You guys know I'm big on side hustles, having multiple streams of income. So the day job, if you have it, don't quit your day job. Do not quit it.
Right.
Get a job because we all can't just jump full in. We know that. So she has her day job, but she's also she's using the day job to feed her passion. So she's working on multiple projects, and anything, guys, anything you see with True Speaks Group, my logo, the Imagine Conference, I'm Awesome Growing in Excellence, which is going to be every February now here in Jacksonville, Florida. Hint, hint, we're going to plug that in. But she has done the logo for that. So any type of graphic design that you have seen from my business for True Speaks Group, that's Erin. It's all Erin. So I have to just give a whoop whoop for that. Okay. So you kind of talked about it a little bit, but let's go deep into it. So you talked about your path and how you created your path, but or how you got on your path, but how would you say now that you are creating your career? Because you said that you're dabbling in quite a few things. Like, what are you trying to ultimately get to on this path that you're creating for your career?
So ultimately, I would like to, like, my sort of, goody dream. Like, the goody dream is that I have a product or a product line on the shelves of like Target.
Okay.
And I say that as a goody dream because like the bigger dream is not just that I have something on the shelf of Target, but maybe I have my own flagship store or something like that. But I think the quality level, the taste level of products at Target is really high. I think the expectations of customers at Target is really high. So I want to be able to serve that crowd. I spent a lot of years working with like individual clients for events and things like that. And it's pretty much kind of worn me out on that. So the thought now is moving into as not so much making things sort of a la carte for clients, but making my own product line. So my own aesthetic, my own hand in the work, and then it's something that people can go purchase. So whether it's like lifestyle items, like things you would put in your house, or event things. So maybe there's like a party in a box or something like that. So I'm still a Gemini, so I still have like two goals. So one is like the product line that, like I said, it kind of encompasses my visual art and my graphic design work. And I also want to be and continue to be a professor. I actually have, I guess my bio is a little, I need to kind of do some stuff on my bio. I'm not an adjunct professor at Columbia College anymore. I am now an adjunct professor and should be starting with classes at University of North Florida, which is where I work. So the whole conversation about a day job, I really think having a day job or that stream of income is great, but you really do need to be strategic about it. Like I sought out a day job in a place where I could grow. I knew I wanted to be a professor. I've been at the University of North Florida for 3 years now. I planted the seed for wanting to be a professor 3 years ago. I went to someone in the art department and I said, hey, I'm a visual artist. I'm just getting back into it. I know I have some work to do. I'm going to do it and I'll stay in touch and let you know what's going on. And now 3 years later, when I went back to that same person in the art department and I said, hey, I've done the work. I've had shows. I've done this and that. And I was like, hey, I'm still interested in teaching. She was like, the job is yours. So, just be strategic about it. So my day job is actually building into what could be my career. So.
Okay, I love it. And guys, you know how I am about the theme. So strategic. So yes, I agree with that. Now, I'm not saying if you work at a fast food restaurant and you do IT stuff on the side, we're not saying don't quit your fast food. We're not saying that at all. But however, you want to try to weave things in and try to build that path, because that's an example. That's what the show is about, teaching and showing you guys how different people have created, that's the key word, created their own path. So Erin is creating her own path and moving forward with, again, she's at a college. She knew her goal of wanting to be at the college and teach at the college. Now she did start teaching earlier. So now she's going to be teaching at that exact college that she's applied for, that she's already working at. And then of course, another big dream is of course having the product line, which her and I have had many conversations about that. And of course, let's not forget, you've got two things, hon. So let's not forget, she's still going to be the creative director for True Speaks Group. And then, of course, she's still going to be the director for the Moxie. And then, of course, she's still going to paint. So we'll have to somehow maybe we can get some. Well, we're going to have her information down in the description box. So please click on her website. You can look at all of her designs because she does beautiful, beautiful work. Her work has been exhibited, like we said, in the bio. Her work has been exhibited all across southeastern United States. So beautifully, beautiful work. And it says, it has a meaning. As we know, art has a meaning behind it. So, okay, I can talk all day long, but let's go into the fourth question is, okay, what skills are needed? So I want to be an artist. I'm brand new. Like you said, your mom started with you early. You guys used to color and paint. Because I know a few people I'm actually friends with, and they have kids that do art and stuff like that. So what skills do these people need? I mean, it doesn't matter if you're young, 30, 40, 50, whatever. What do you need to enter and get started with this field?
Well, first you need to be clear. Like, a lot of people are creative. You know, you have people who are naturally creative, and you have people who aren't, and then kind of say it all the time. You know, I am not creative. I do think art is a skill, like basketball, that you can learn how to do. I feel like I could teach anybody how to draw if that's your intention. But art is a lot bigger than that. So you need to figure out what you want to do. If you want to be a studio artist who goes in a studio every day and paints pictures to sell, you know, serious studio artists tend to be very heavy on content and like what the work means and what their voice is. You need to decide if you want to just make work that goes to a factory and they just make 1 million prints of your work and it gets sold and it's hanging in a lot of people's houses, or if you want to make more critical work that goes in museums and things like that. So there's a lot in there. Or if you want to work more on the service side, so like a graphic designer. There's 1 million different creative fields. And then I'm just talking art. You have music, you have film and video. There's so many different things you could do. But I do think art and creativity are skills that can be learned. So if it's something that you're interested in doing, you just need to seek out the right teachers to do it. It is not something, if you want to be a serious critical artist, like museum level, whatever artist, I do think going to school for art is necessary. Going into a fine arts program. If you just want to paint, if you just want to make art, if you're not really ready for all of that yet, you don't necessarily have to go to school. You can learn, you can go get mentors, things like that. And you can kind of learn it that way. There's also 1 million different ways to learn at home, online. There are sites like Skillshare. Like I pay a monthly fee to Skillshare, and I can just go on anytime I want and take like Illustrator classes or Photoshop classes, things like that. And I can learn that way. There's Creative Live. There's a lot of outlets online where you can literally, there's a lot of free college online where you can literally sit at home and teach yourself how to do these things. So it's just a matter of figuring out what you want to do and then finding the path and making a plan to do it. But, you know, like right now, I have a big giant school loan bill. You don't necessarily have to go that route. Like there's a lot of other opportunities and outlets right now.
Right. And I want to give a plug for Skillshare. Erin is the one that told me about Skillshare probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and she's like, "You need to teach on Skillshare." I'm like, no, that's internet stuff, that's e-learning stuff. I'm not into that. Well, of course, you have to evolve as the world evolves and changes. You got to kind of follow the wave, if not, you'll get left. So I now have 2 classes on Skillshare. I have Goal Busters, and I have a small portion of Goal Busters, and I also have Resume Basics Part 1 on there. So I like Skillshare. We're going to put a plug in for them, guys, because they're good. And I totally agree. You have to get out there and kind of learn and teach yourself. We're not saying don't go get the degree. You know, get the degree. We're both big on school. We're both school junkies. We both love sitting in the college classroom. I'm currently in school, as you guys know. So those of you watching this video 10 years from now, I'll be out of school by then, hopefully. But but you know, we're big on that. But at the same time, there's so much out there that you can go out there and teach yourself and learn. And it's free. YouTube, Udemy, Skillshare, like you say, Creative Live. There's so many outlets out there. So that kind of goes into the next question. So what are 3 main interest points? Would you say school is a main interest point to actually get in the field, or?
I wouldn't necessarily say, if you want to be in the Museum of Modern Art, want to be things like that, then yes, I do suggest you go to school.
Okay.
School didn't necessarily, when I say school, I mean college. College didn't necessarily teach me how to be an artist. It didn't necessarily teach me how to paint. I did learn skills and stuff, but school taught me how to be a critical thinker. And that's what's needed, I think, personally, to be like a serious museum level artist. It's to be able to think critically and put real content into your work. So that's what school taught me. So it's just a matter of the path that you want to take. So I would say school or some type of training, there are like certifications you can get on the graphic design end. There are, you can go somewhere and get you some acronyms, after your name. So skills training somehow, I would definitely say you need. You definitely have to have, you need to be able to work well independently, because most of us are self-employed. So if if you need instruction like that, if you need to be accountable to somebody, if you need all that kind of stuff, then this may or may not be for you, because a lot of us work independently. So you have to go out and find the work. You have to work. A third gateway into it, you need people. I need people to advocate for me and my business. I need people to refer me. I need people to want to collect my artwork. So and that's something I'm working on personally, because I'm kind of a hermit crab, I don't talk a lot. I'm not super social, but I've had to learn to be over the years as a business owner. I've had everything from like making myself go into grocery stores or going to places and making myself talk to a certain amount of people, so I've had to make myself more social. So gateway wise, I think you really have to be able to get people to advocate for you and to speak for your business and to refer you to the next. A lot of my business, a lot of my artworks, the sales, things like that are from word of mouth. A lot of it. So school training, yes. Definitely people advocating for you. And then what else did I say? What else did I say?
I said the education, the people, because you kind of intertwine the education and training together.
Yeah, right.
Which is fine. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, because I totally agree with you. Even with myself, you've been knowing me my whole life. So I'm extroverted. I'm very extroverted, but I'm kind of a extroverted introvert, because I like kind of being by myself too. I like my space. I know it sounds weird because I am kind of all over the place, but I do understand what you're saying. You do have to. It's hard when you have to push yourself out there. You have to put yourself out there. You got to go to the networking events. You got to meet people. You need people to advocate. I don't care what anybody tells you, world. I don't care. You can't do anything by yourself. You go out there and watch any successful entrepreneur or any entrepreneur out there. You cannot do this stuff by yourself. Yes, you're like, well, it's me against the world. No, it's not you against the world. You have to go out there and put yourself out there and meet people. Go to art shows. Go to these different events and network with people. If you want to, no one knows that you're an artist unless you tell them you're an artist. No one knows that you do this unless you tell them. And then when you start talking to people, oh, okay, I know you do this. So you got to really put yourself out. So that's been an area too of myself. As extroverted as I am, you do have to step outside of your comfort zone. And I'm constantly pushing myself to step outside my comfort zone. And like you said, the education training is important. And even if it's formal education, guys, that's fine. But we're going to repeat ourselves again with that. It doesn't have to be formal. You just need to go out there and teach yourself. You need to learn what it is you want to do, especially in this field. And like Erin said, it's such a huge field. So art entails, and help me out here, Erin, art entails art, the music, entertainment, performing, film. What else? What else does the arts include?
Dance.
Dance. Oh yeah, dance. Yeah.
performance art is a thing. So artists
Yeah.
who use their physical body in their work. There's just a million different things. Like creativity
Mm-hmm.
is not you, and you have to kind of separate. You don't separate creativity from art. Creativity is not just under the umbrella of art. Creativity to me is about problem solving. So you can
Mm-hmm.
be
Good.
a mathematician that's a great creative mind because you know how to problem solve. You know how to come up with new ways. So artists see the end at the beginning. So I
Mm-hmm.
know in my head what my artwork should look like when I'm finished. And now I got to figure out the materials, the canvas. Is it canvas or wood or paper? Am I painting on a wall? Am I painting on the floor? How is it going to be hung? Where are the people in relationship to the work? How does the
Mm-hmm.
work interact in the space? What's the right space for it? So I see the work, and now I got to figure out how to get there. So it's problem
Right.
solving.
Right.
So
I like
um,
that. I love that.
another thing is to get connected to professional organizations,
Mm-hmm.
conferences, things like that. Like, don't spend your whole life trying to figure it out by yourself. Go to the person who has done it already and ask them how they did it. And
Yep.
conferences and things like that are great for that. Most of
Yep.
these people do want to share the information. Now,
Mm-hmm.
conferences and stuff are an investment, but
Yes.
but if you choose well, it'll be worth the money, and you
Yes.
won't mind investing more into it. So do go to things like conferences and join professional organizations, because people will show you the system. You don't have to go figure all this stuff out yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I will second that. I'm big on going to conferences. I've talked about that on a number of times. When I interview people, when I do my coaching sessions with my clients, I'm big on that because again, you need to build a tribe, you need to build a community, and the only way to do that is to get out. But again, Erin, you and I have talked about that. We got to be strategic because there's so many conferences. Literally, you could take a year off from work and go to a conference every week. That's how many conferences there are. I get all these different emails from Inc., from Money, I get them from Fortune. I could go to all these Essence. I go to all these conferences, but you gotta find what's strategic to your field and your industry, and join that particular industry association and go to that conference. Like I'm a trainer, so I'm a member of the Association for Training and Development, Talent Development. So I attend their conference as much as I can. I go to the weekly or monthly events here as needed, because that is my industry. I'm a trainer. I'm a career coach. I'm a career developer. So I'm in that industry. So you want to don't just go to the conferences because you're just going to, just have fun. No, you need to go and be strategic. That's the key. That's the thing, that there's a theme going on here. Mentoring, strategic. And something else you said, you said creativity. I love that you said creativity is problem solving, because when I hear people say that they're not creative, the first thing people think is, oh, I can't draw. Creativity is about, like you said, I think to me, creativity is about being innovative. You just need to create innovation in your space. Whether you work a regular 9 to 5, I don't care if you work at McDonald's, you can be creative. I mean, hello, Taco Bell has shout out to Taco Bell. Taco Bell has a shell that's made out of eggs. Seriously? That's innovative. That's creativity. So you got to just look around you. There's ideas everywhere you go. I'm always looking for ideas when I walk out the door, when I see stuff, and just business minded. You got to be able to think, okay, what can you do here? What problem can you solve there? That's what creativity is. Okay, I can talk forever about that.
I think the same thing. If you could be the genius, like at a McDonald's, if you could be the 15-year-old genius who figures out how to get that ice cream machine working.
Yes. Because the ice cream machine doesn't hardly work sometimes.
To be the 15-year-old creative mind that figures that out.
Yes, that's all it takes. You don't have to you have to get a sheet of paper and know how to draw. When people hear that, they think, oh, I'm not creative. Yes, you are. Every one of us is creative. Each one of us has a special gift that no one else can do, that we can all learn from each other. I truly, truly believe that.
And I also, I'm sorry. I also teach in my art classes that a lot of people associate art with drawing and painting and mastering drawing and painting, and that is not all art is. You don't have to be a master like renderer. You don't have to be like a master draftsman and be able to draw faces perfectly in order to be considered an artist. So wipe all of that out of your mind. So it's a lot of different ways to be an artist.
Right, right. So I am a innovative artist of career development and training.
Right.
So I'm an artiste. I'm an artiste. So tell the world. I end every session with telling the world a secret. It doesn't have to be a top. It doesn't reveal your whole life. But what is something the world doesn't know about Erin that you want to share openly with the world?
I still don't know.
It could be anything crazy. It could be anything.
See, that's the thing, is trying to think of something crazy.
Or it could be something normal. It doesn't matter.
Man, I'm such a like boring normal person.
Oh,
Um, I don't know. Like, one thing a lot of people don't know about me, which is, and it's not anything like, um, but basically as a child, so this is interesting, I think. As a child, my entrance into art was, of course, like cartoons and Disney and stuff like that. So as a child, I went and I looked up and looked to see like who the animators and stuff were at Disney World. I found a black man who was an animator at Disney World, and I wrote him a letter.
wow.
And he wrote me back. I can't remember how old I was. I was old enough to write and read. I think I was definitely, I want to say I was definitely like under 12. But he wrote me back a few times. And one thing that he told me, he was kind of explaining animation and stuff to me. One thing he told me in that letter was that, he does the work, but you don't own the work. Disney always owns the work.
Right. Yeah.
Which actually at that young age turned me off. So without really knowing at that young age, I kind of knew I wanted to be an owner of something. Like I had that entrepreneurial spirit even at that age. So I don't think I told a lot of people that. So
no, that is so cool. That's awesome. So you know what I get from that, Erin, is I get just do it. And that's been a theme throughout all of my interviews is, you know what's the worst could happen? The worst could happen is he didn't write you back, and he did. So she went and found a name, looked it up, don't know how old she was, looked it up, and wrote the man, and he wrote back. So like we said earlier, people are willing to talk. Most people, not everyone, but majority of people like talking about what they do and don't mind sharing their knowledge and wisdom. I mean, most people don't. I mean, yes, there's mentors and counselors and coaches and stuff like that. And you do need to pay for some services. You got to be real. But most people, if you sit down and say, hey, let's have a conversation, may I ask you a couple of questions? Most people don't mind doing that. So I think we can walk away today with knowing that mentorship is important. You don't have to be an artiste to be creative. I mean, creativity comes from just being a simple problem solver. I think we can walk away with education and training. Doesn't have to be formal. Right? We can go online and learn. You need to figure out what niche or niche, whichever the word is. You can figure out what area that you want to design and be an art developer in. So what other last words do you have? And also give us what's going on with you. So give us your email address, or if you want to give that out, website, anything that's coming up. Because remember, this is going to be out there on the channel for years to come. So what information do you want to share with the audience so they can reach you?
One, when it comes to being creative, like start where you are. Like look around in the place where you are now and figure out what problem you can solve. Creativity is about problem solving. So find the problem that needs to be solved. So for me, there's two things that I'm interested in right now, even in the midst of all that I do, but that's who I am. I do a lot. In the professional art community here, and really in a lot of spaces, I think that artists sometimes need some help on the professional end. So they may not have a resume, they may not have a CV, they may not have all those things prepared. So if somebody called them today and says, hey, send me all that stuff, they might not have it. So in the next few months, that's a service that I'm going to start providing. Good. I am also very interested in finding the community of high school artists or art-minded people who are not at like a Douglas Anderson, or y'all don't know what Douglas Anderson is, like a school of the arts who don't necessarily, they aren't students at School of the Arts, but they have creativity and they kind of like are artists, but they don't know what to do with themselves, which was me in high school. I did not go to college for art. I kind of found my way into it. So I want to sort of be that bridge, or figure out a way to start a program or do something to create that bridge. Because a lot of people, a lot of bad kids that get written off in high school really have, their outlet may be on the creative end, and they don't have anybody to connect them to that, especially since like artists coming out of schools and things like that. So over the next few years, I really want to do work in that area, like connecting creative kids to professional art careers.
Okay. So. Awesome.
Oh yeah. And then you got to get in contact with me. Okay.
Yes. Tell us how to get in contact with you.
I am 100% willing to help steer people in this creative field. So I'm one of those people you can call and ask questions to and all that. I have, I think I have two websites. I have my design website, which is more graphic design, event industry. That is E Street Design Co. So ESTREETDESIGNCO.com. Of course, www is in the front. So that's more design, event related. And then I have my visual art site, which is Erin is Creative. So www.Erin, ERIN, is creative, CREATIVE.co. So it's not .com, it's .co. So eriniscreative.co. So that's my design site. That's my visual art site. You can email me just through either one of the sites. Just find like the email button. I would also love for you to go to moxiemcgriff.com. So it's MOXIEMCGRIFF.com, and get connected to that. It is a great book for kids to read, especially little Black girls. It's a great book for that. I am an advocate for little Black girls loving themselves. I'm an advocate for big grown Black girls loving themselves. So, so get connected to that. So those three things. And like I said, I'm an open book. So if people have questions, if you have a child who you think maybe is interested in a creative field and you don't know what to do with them, let me know and I'll try to get you steered in the right direction.
I love it. And also too, guys, as I mentioned earlier, I have my annual women's conference, I'm Awesome, Growing in Excellence, Imagine. So I know this will be out here in the tube, but I'm going to go ahead and say Erin is going to be one of the speakers for the 2018 conference. We had to reschedule it from 2017. Those darn hurricanes, they just happen, but it is what it is. So we had to reschedule it for 2018. So Erin is one of these speakers for this year. So if you're in the Jacksonville area for 2018, we ask you to come on out. It's everything's out there on my link as well, www.truthspeaksgroup.com. Also www.imaginewomenconf.com. Go out there, get your tickets. She will be speaking on February 24th, 2018. And this conference is every year. So and I have different speakers every year, so that's strategic as well. So please reach out to me if you're interested in that. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure you subscribe down below to the link. Everything Erin just said on those links and those websites, I'm going to have all that in the description as well. So everything's down below. So please, guys, thank you so much. We love you. We'll see you back next month. More interviews next month. Next year coming up in 2018. I got some surprises out there for you. More on creating your career with Marla J. Alberti. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Bye.